Hey everyone, I'm Drishti.
I'm Azhar.
And I'm Devik. We're from Team CEOpards in the MENA region.
In this video, we look at three barriers that Zoom has for international expansion. Firstly, the video conferencing market is an immensely competitive industry in which companies like Microsoft and Google are trying to push out their own products and have the ability to monopolize the sector due to their affordable pricing plans. Secondly, Zoom's user base is currently too focused in the West, particularly the US and the UK, while new untapped decentralized markets in Africa and Asia are growing with immense potential. So, how do we solve both of these issues? Firstly, Zoom should add new features like enhanced encryption to ensure user host space and counteract security issues, allowing for widespread corporate and government adoption. Secondly, AR and VR integrations, which have the potential to drive new customer experiences and new ways of interacting between people. Additionally, it allows Zoom to operate in a new market segment, such as VR salesmen and pitches. This gives Zoom a competitive advantage because its estimated market scope is $1 to $74 billion just by 2030. Thirdly, specialized features for corporates and education institutions. For example, schools should have additional ways to render third models for biology or see how reactions play out in real life, along with being able to send or receive assignments and keep track of the students' progress. For corporates, we can have integration of file sharing systems, centralized databases, etc. Fourthly and last, pricing plans would be strategically targeted at different types of customers and businesses, particularly the startups in the larger sectors, since they are the ones who want to save money on logistics and transportation and hence are likely to opt into Zoom. Hence, the price reductions depends on local market conditions, but can go up to 25 to 35% on Zoom's services.
Coming to the third key issue then, the pandemic gave Zoom a sudden boost in sales, and that's no longer as prevalent, and a lot of interactions are shifting back offline. How do we solve this? Zoom should set up an ad-based revenue model. We'll show a maximum of 2 to 3 ads for every free meeting and expand the free features to mitigate the risk of losing current free users. This model helps Zoom to firstly diversify its income, secondly, profit off of users who continue to use the free plan because currently Zoom spends over $100 million supporting these free users. Thirdly, get more free to paid customer conversions. And fourthly, make more profits to fund our solutions. While these solutions are effective, they have some threats. Firstly, the post pandemic drop in the amount of consumers for video conferencing. How do we mitigate this? Firstly, by diversifying our income with our ad revenue models, means that we can make up for loss of profits due to less users in the short term while gaining more users in the long term. Secondly, it allows us to gain excess profits due to high profit margins and thus establish a safety blanket of cash reserves.
Our second key threat is that the competition can copy us. That is, there are companies like Google and Microsoft who can try to copy the features that Zoom offers. There are two ways we can go ahead and deal with this. Firstly, by making sure that Zoom innovates efficiently and quickly to stay ahead of the competition and the curve. And by secondly, turning the scenario into an opportunity by trying to ensure that Zoom is able to monopolize the Asian and African markets and become the first major company to break through in these areas due to reduced pricing and feature dumping. In short, catering to the localized market conditions, such as the price-sensitive nature of these markets and utility-based nature of these markets. The third critical issue that we might face is the loss of some users due to ads may occur. There are three ways we deal with this. Number one, Zoom ensures feature dumping, which means that a vast majority of individuals will still stay on the platform because of how many features Zoom offers. Secondly, ads encourage users in the West with higher buying power to switch to premium accounts if they don't want to look at these ads anymore, thereby allowing us to profit off the subscription-based model. Thirdly, ads allow us to tap into untested markets by making us regain user base and make profits off of free users because of these ad-based revenue models, therefore making our business sustainable, particularly in Africa and Asia. So, what does the next 10 years look like for Zoom? Considering ad revenue, overall price reductions, and new customer acquisition, Zoom's 2023 revenue would be 6.8 billion US dollars, which is greater than the current projected revenue of 4.38 billion by almost 2 billion US dollars. We'll have around 305 million users. Within 5 years, in 2027, Zoom will have made $8 billion in revenue and gained 340 million users. And finally, within 10 years, in 2032, Zoom would make $9.7 billion in revenue and have acquired around 400 million users. Thank you very much for your time. Vote for Team CEOpards.